friends, it's Valerie. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I would love if you would hit that subscribe button and join my YouTube family. Today's video is going to be a cookbook collaboration hosted by the lovely Tamara from Southern Wife Everyday Life. It is going to be all about recipes from cookbooks, and there's going to be lots of other lovely ladies doing this collab. So don't forget to check out the playlist. It will be in my description box, link down below, as well as I'll leave a link there for Tamara's channel. And I'm going to be doing recipes from this Campbell's book. It is a 3-in-1 book. So I hope that you like that. So let's get started. So really quickly, I just wanted to show you this cookbook from Campbell's. It has 4 ingredient or less recipes in there, casseroles and 1-dish meals, and some slow cooker recipes. Let's see if I can get to these bookmarks just to quickly show you what I will be making. One of them is going to be a mushroom garlic pork chops. That was really good. It just needed more seasoning. I will leave notes in the video telling you about just to add some more seasoning. That's all it really needed, and I love how simple it was though. This spicy salsa mac and beef was really good. We actually really liked this one a lot, and I would still say that this one is our favorite just because we are more about like Asian style meals or Asian inspired meals, our typical favorites. So this one is an orange chicken with green onion and walnuts, and it is made in the slow cooker. It was really good. So let's get to these meals. This first meal is spicy salsa mac and beef. I'm starting off by cooking 1 pound of ground beef in my large skillet over medium-high heat until your beef is browned and there's no more pink left. And I'm also breaking that up with my meat chopping tool because I like my meat very broken up. And once it's done cooking, go ahead and drain off all your grease. And then just go ahead and add your meat back to your pan, and then you're going to add in 1 1/3 cup water, and I'm adding in 1 10.5 ounce can of Campbell's condensed beef broth. If you have a sodium issue, they have a healthier version of it. I believe it's like a healthy choice. You could also substitute your favorite broth. This is just a condensed, so stronger flavor. Then you're going to add in these medium pasta shells, and you're going to need 2 cups of that and add them in. And reduce your heat to a medium and just give that a good stir. And you're going to cook that for about 10 minutes or until your pasta is cooked through. I added the lid to mine. I believe that helps cook pasta better when it's cooking in a liquid like that. And once my noodles were cooked, you're going to go ahead and add in 1 can of Campbell's condensed cheddar cheese soup. Same thing with this. They do have a healthier version if you need to substitute that out. And now I'm taking this chunky salsa. This is the Aldi brand one, and I'm going to go ahead and add in 1 cup of that. And then you're just going to go ahead and give that all a good stir. This meal was actually really good. At first I was hesitant about it because I'm not the biggest fan of hamburger helper style meals, and so I was wary on that, but it did work out. It tasted really good. It had good flavor. I really enjoyed that cheese soup inside. Of course you could add cheese on top, but I opted not to do that because it had a nice flavor from that canned soup of that. I served this with some cornbread rolls from Pillsbury and then just a side salad, and it was a nice, good, complete meal. Boyfriend really liked it as well. This next meal is a crock pot orange chicken with green onion and walnuts. To start off, I'm combining 1 1/2 cups of chicken broth. It calls for the Swanson brand, but I'm just using what I have on hand, which is just better than bouillon with water. Then you're going to mix in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I made a little slurry with it first because I just find that mixing it separate and adding it into a liquid is just way better. It works out for me better. And now I'm going to go ahead and add in a 1/4 cup of teriyaki sauce. I'm just using this sweet teriyaki sauce. Then you are going to need 3/4 cup of marmalade. I'm just using that same 1/4 cup measuring cup. I'm just going to use 3 of them to equal 3/4 cup, and just mix that in with your broth mixture. Then the recipe calls for 3 cloves of minced garlic. I'm just pressing some garlic here, and it's definitely more than 3 cloves. I didn't really measure out. I just know I like more garlic. And now I'm just chopping up 4 green onions. I'm doing the green and the white parts, That's what it looked like in the photo in the cookbook that they used, and they say you'll need about a half a cup of those green onions. Then just go ahead and add those in and give everything a really good stir to get that marmalade all nice and broken up and like dissolving with the chicken broth. I'm just doing that all in the measuring cup that I made the chicken broth in, but of course you could just dump all these ingredients in the pot of your crock pot and mix it all in there to have one less dish if you're using a can of the chicken broth. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour that in the bottom of my crock pot. Now I'm taking about 2 pounds of chicken thighs. They used regular chicken thighs that were skinless, but I'm actually using boneless and skinless. It's just a preference for me and the boyfriend as well. And mine were slightly frozen in some places because I was defrosting them, but that was going to work out perfectly fine. It was just one that was a little bit more frozen than the rest, and it's going in the crock pot anyways, and it worked out perfectly fine. And I just added all that into the mixture, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of toss those all in the sauce to make sure they're all nice and coated with that. Place a lid on and go and cook these. The recipe says for 8 to 9 hours, but I am using boneless. I put it for 7 hours knowing that I was still going to check it at about 4 to 5 hours, and at 4.5 hours mine were already cooked through. I checked them with my meat thermometer and they were like at 180 degrees, so they were well past the 165 that you need for chicken. And so I just removed them from the crock pot because this liquid was too runny for my liking. I also added in the last of this bottle of the teriyaki sauce that I had because I just felt like it wasn't quite the sweetness I would like. It had a nice orange flavor, but a very subtle light orange flavor. And I made one small little batch of a cornstarch slurry, just about a tablespoon's worth, mixed with some of that liquid. And I put this just in a pot because I wanted to get this done really quick. And I just put it to boil and just kind of thicken up a little bit to become more of like a sauce. Once it did that, I went ahead and added that back to the crock pot, let those chicken thighs sit in that to get like re-warmed up, and I added in my half a cup of chopped up walnuts and just gave that all a good stir, and it does continue to thicken up a little bit more. I served this with some white rice and broccoli, and I just covered that in sesame seeds because I love sesame seeds, and I cut a little extra bit of green onion on top. It's just more for photo purposes, but I do love green onions. I also forgot to mention I added a little bit of brown sugar to that sauce when I was thickening it up, just to make it a little bit sweeter. Like I was saying, we like that. You definitely don't have to do that. You don't even have to thicken the sauce if you don't want to, but this was very, very good. We love this meal. It is definitely our type of meal that we tend to love, so we'll definitely be having that again. I loved how easy but flavorful it was. This last meal is mushroom garlic pork chops. I'm starting off by heating up 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil in my large cast iron skillet over medium-high heat, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in pork chops. The recipe called for bone-in pork chops. I actually only had boneless pork chops, so that's just what I used. I didn't see a point in going and buying more of them when I'm trying to use up things from my freezer. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and place those down on the bottom of the pan there, and I'm going to go ahead and let those cook, I'd say about 4 minutes on each side. At this point, it doesn't call for any seasoning, but I decided to season them with a little bit of garlic powder and paprika. And let me tell you, you want to season these. I know that a boneless cut has less flavor than bone-in, but this was lacking a little bit of flavor in my opinion. It was a good meal, it just needed some more seasoning. So definitely either season your pork chops, or I'll give you a little tip later on and when we're making the gravy. Next, you're going to go ahead and remove your pork chops from the pan and just set those aside. To that same skillet, I'm adding half a cup of milk and then this can of cream of mushroom with roasted garlic. I've never used this before. I actually enjoyed it. And yeah, so just go ahead and put that in your skillet, and then you're going to bring that to a boil, stir that all together really well, and then you'll go ahead and reduce your heat to low and cover and cook that for 5 minutes or until your pork chops are cooked through is what the recipe says to do. Mine were actually already cooked all the way through, so I just went ahead and placed them back in that like gravy that we just made. At this point, like I'm saying, if you need flavor, taste the soup, taste the gravy before you put your pork chops in. How that tastes is how everything's going to really taste. So if you need some salt, pepper, garlic powder, anything you might need, go ahead and add it in there at that point. That will really help you get some more flavor added into this. It was really good, though. It just needed something like some salt, some pepper, a little bit more than what they were calling for with no seasonings. And I serve these with some smashed potatoes and some air fried asparagus. I'm not showing those because they're not, in a cookbook, but I will still be showing you those soon, so keep an eye out for that. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that little bell so you don't miss out on any future videos, and I hope you all are having a great day.